We are discussing the equity schemes of Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, and joining me on the show right now is Dhirendra Kumar of Value Research to discuss those schemes. Dhirendra, thanks very much for taking out the time. First up, let's discuss Birla's Frontline, which is a large cap cum mid cap fund, primarily large cap. What's your view here?
Birla Frontline Equity, is anchored to BSE, invest in top 200 stocks by capitalization, normally from the universe of BSE 200. And it has been a superior fund in its category and consistently been so. I think, if one has to, and it has been part of our recommendations over time. Past 3-4 years, this fund has been barely above average. But if we look at the long-term performance, I think it has been able to withstand all the turbulence in the market and has been able to deliver reasonably above average performance in its category consistently over time. So I would say that this is a very very mainstream fund, can well be a part of anybody's core equity portfolio, and doesn't throw surprises.
The next fund is Birla 95. It's a hybrid fund which has exposure to equities as well as debt. What would you advise investors who are looking at taking exposure in a fund like this?
Birla Sun Life 95 is a good balanced fund. It has been, and its initial years when it was Alliance 95 was a blockbuster balanced fund, which is not the expectation from a balanced fund. And off late, this fund has maintained a 30% fixed income, 70% equity, and has been able to provide return like equity with far greater stability. So this is a kind of fund which anybody who is investing in mutual fund for the first time and is looking for stability and growth with a single fund and reasonable diversification, it turns out to be a very good choice. It is not the best performing balanced fund, but that is not the reason for choosing. Performance is not the key driver when you are choosing a balanced fund. And Birla Sun Life 95, given its large cap orientation of the equity portfolio, fits the bill.
The third fund is Birla Dividend Yield. What is your view on this fund and its performance?
Birla Sun Life Dividend Yield Plus is an outstanding dividend yield fund, and a lot of investors actually think that from a dividend yield fund they tend to, you should be expecting far more periodic income by way of dividend, which is a wrong expectation. This fund has actually come to life in the past 4 or 5 years. In difficult times, this fund has kept its head above water. It has built a case for dividend yield fund as a category, and if we visualize that the market is going to be difficult in coming times, it's going to remain volatile, then this fund presents a very compelling case. I think in the Birla Sun Life stable, I think this is the outstanding equity fund.
Right, one more fund, Dhirendra, is Birla Mid Cap. In a market which is volatile, how should an investor approach a mid cap fund?
Birla Sun Life Mid Cap is a disappointing mid cap fund. It did assume risk in good times till 2008, and since then it has turned conservative on occasion and on the wrong occasion. So if you look at the portfolio complexion today, it has modest allocation to, it has avoided small caps altogether. It has a modest allocation to large caps. It remains, true to its label, but when it comes to assuming risk at appropriate times, this fund has gone wrong, and that translates into its, a below average performance among mid-cap funds. So I would say, venture-some investors seeking risk and wanting to be, seeking compensation for assuming that risk, Birla Sun Life Mid-Cap has not built a strong case.
Well, thanks for that, Dhirendra. With that, we come to the end of this edition of Meet Your Fund Manager. Do send us your feedback and suggestions. We'll appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching.